Welcome to On Texas Football. It's time for Lunch with the Coach. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by two-time state champion winning coach Bryan Erwin. Bryan was at the Texas-Ohio State game on Saturday. Thought it would be a good time for him to give us a little intel of what he saw in Columbus, Ohio. Bryan, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Bobby. Glad to be here.
Usually Coach Bob Shipley will also join us on Lunch with the Coach, but we had some technical difficulties, so we had to redo this. Bryan, let's just get started with the Arch Manning's performance and kind of put a bow on it and what you saw from a coach's perspective.
I think just high level stuff without getting into all the details, and we've heard things about mechanics and his feet and his sidearm delivery and yada yada. I'm not going to get too far into mechanics. That is what it is. Hopefully that will get fixed. Not sure why he was off platform and all that. But what I saw and what was evident to me during the game, and then really what I thought about continuously after the game, was the difference in who he was in this game compared to who I've seen him in previous games when he came in the game. He was in previous games and being around his teammates, he seemed to be, that leader by example, that charismatic leader, that leader that's got a lot of personality. He's one of the boys, and that's going to serve him well. Well, this game, I just think it was such a big environment, just ridiculous expectations, completely out of control expectations. I think he won this game and just wasn't quite ready for the moment. Almost had an out-of-body experience. I've been there before as a coach. It's real. And I think that he just wasn't himself as a leader. I don't think that's who he's going to be. We need Arch to be Arch, not Arch downplaying the pressure and feeling too much pressure going to the game. I think maybe that was part of it, is we spent a lot of time, him trying to downplay that pressure. And that can then in turn affect how you approach the game and how you play the game and your mannerisms within the game. So we need Arch to be Arch. His leadership style is what we have been hungry for. And now he needs to bring that leadership style. I'm not worried about him as a quarterback. I'm not worried about him as a passer. I want him to be that leader.
You mentioned you've had a similar experience. Describe what you mean by a similar experience where you just get overwhelmed with emotion and it kind of changes you from who you normally are on a football field.
Yeah, I really feel like it happened to me in the first state championship that I coached in. I remember walking down the field and you walk through pregame and you feel like you just jumped into a swimming pool that's about 60 degrees and it's cold. I mean, it's just cold and it's just kind of overwhelming. And then you start trying to convince yourself, hey, we need to be calm. We need to be poised under pressure. We need to keep the kids from getting rattled. And so therefore maybe my demeanor was a little bit different the first half of that game because I was so worried about keeping the kids controlled and poised that I myself wasn't the same guy standing on the sidelines that the kids had been accustomed to seeing, for the previous 15 games. So I was different. I coached poorly in the first half of that state championship game. I came in at halftime and had to look in the mirror and say, what are you doing? Be yourself. Go coach hard. These kids can take it and just be yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you were at that time, were an adult, right? Head football.
I was an adult. Yeah.
Less a 20-year-old, college junior or what have you. Hey, second question, or the final question, you kind of alluded to it, but I want to make sure for people that are down on Arch right now or concerned about his future as a Longhorn, what would you say to them? Do you think their fears are unfounded? Do you think they're maybe putting the cart before the horse? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, they're definitely unfounded. Arch, I said going into it, he's a can't miss prospect, and I still say he's a can't miss prospect. He's got the pedigree, he's got the passing mechanic, he's got the arms, then he's got the athletic ability to take it down and run with the football. He made a couple of runs in that game, Bobby, that were incredible. Moving the chains, the speed that he showed, the athleticism that he showed. No, I have no concerns. Anybody that's feeling like that right now about Arch Manning is a little bit irrational. It's just way too early in the process. We're going to lose another game at some point. Hope maybe not this year, but we're going to lose another game at some point. I mean, you're not going to win them all. You go into a tough environment. We've talked about that before. About that stadium, that was a tough place to play, and I've said it many times since I left there. Vegas usually has a 3-point advantage for the home team, and I really think you go to the Shoe and you play in that environment and the way their fans showed up, I think it was more like a 6-point advantage from a Vegas standpoint. So, look, he's going to be fine. I'm not worried one bit about him. He's a can't-miss guy. He's got what it takes. He's got talent around him. He's got a good offensive line. He's got solid running backs. He's got solid receivers. We got great defense, and we got a great kicking game.
All right, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions about what you saw in Columbus in a minute. But first, I want to say thank you to our sponsor. This is her 3rd year sponsoring Lunch with the Coach. That's Laura Baker, the realtor for Keller Williams and the Andy Allen team. If you're interested in moving to, from, or within the Austin area, there's nobody better than Austin real estate professional and expert Laura Baker. 512-784-0505. That's 512-784-0505. Or reach out to her at laura@andyallenteam.com. A good friend of the program. We appreciate her very much. Brian, I mentioned you and what you saw there. What did you see from the defense that had you so encouraged? Because you were texting me during the game, hey, we're going to be in this game for as long as the game is because our defense is so good.
Yeah, it's just a 4-quarter game. No matter what was happening early, we get down 7. I wasn't too concerned about it. Our defense is solid. We've got lots of depth. We're strong up front. We're better at the inside linebacker position than we've been in years. Secondary, at corner, we played outstanding. The safeties were fitting. Michael Taft, Derek Williams, Jelani McDonald. I mean, those guys were fitting downhill. And every time you saw somewhat of a hole open up, those guys were fitting. And I thought we tackled really well for the first game of the season. I didn't really even see miss tackles that stood out to me. So defensively, lots of team speed, lots of size, lots of depth. And this is definitely going to be a top 3 to 5 defense in the country.
Oh, you like it that much then, huh? You feel like Texas got a good group overall?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we give up 70-ish yards rushing to Ohio State team that wanted to come in. Coach Dave made it public knowledge that they wanted to come in and they wanted to run the football and establish the run. And we held them to around 70 yards rushing, stymied their pass game. I've heard, a little bit too much about they were conservative and they dialed it back. And I agree. I think it might have been Jerry that said, who in the world is going to just try to only get 11 first downs or only score 14 points. That, like he said, that's BS. They're trying to move the football. They're trying to score points. They had their way of trying to do that, and our defense said, "No, you're not going to do that." And I like the balance that we have defensively. It's not like one position stronger than the other. There's just a lot of balance to me. It seems like throughout the defense.
Amani Muhammad was singled out by Steve Sarkisian on Monday for his play against Jeremiah Smith, Grayson Littleton as well. But, one of the things that didn't happen, and Sark also mentioned this on Monday, was the lack of big plays by the defense, the turnovers. It's the first game in 24 contests that Texas has not created a turnover. Sark said he's going to start trying to teach more gang tackling and ripping the ball with the second tackler there, but that may have been the ultimate change in the whole game, is that Texas couldn't get a turnover. After all, Ohio State scored after their only turnover of the game that they got. Yeah,
I think that's true, but Ohio State's also very, very disciplined. They take care of the football, much like we did. We had one interception. We didn't fumble the ball. We took care of it as well. So their defense side of the ball is probably thinking the same thing. They need to do some things to try to get the ball on the ground and force fumbles. I thought we got a 4th down stop or 2. To me, those are turnovers. Now, unfortunately, we were very, very poor on 4th down, plus our turnovers. So, but I think 4th down stops are like getting turnovers. And then at the same time, we were so close on that safety when we got the holding call in the end zone. That was going to be a safety, and I know we got the hands to the face call at the same time, but there's another turnover that, I mean, if we're talking about inches from just not sticking your hand in the guy's face, the guy's holding you, the flag comes out while he's in the end zone, so we know it's going to be a safety. There's no doubt. Our guy was 3 yards deep in the end zone when they called the flag, so there's another opportunity for a turnover. There's another opportunity for what Coach Sark was talking about. We just had the mistake with the hands to the face.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big one. Overall impressions of the offensive line, and I'm going to leave you with special teams because I know that's a big one for you as a coach.
Yeah.
And you think it's just as important to be good at special teams as it is offense or defense. But start with the offensive line because it's Cole Hudson, his first start at center. I don't remember any center infractions. Connor Stroh got the start at left guard. Right tackle was Brandon Baker. He gave up 1 sack, but he did have a couple of and then Trevor Gooseby was able to go. What did you think of the offensive line overall first?
I thought overall they played outstanding. We were able to establish a line of scrimmage. A lot of times we were getting a lot of push, not just executing blocks and fitting up against blocks and carrying out their blocking assignment, but we were actually getting a lot of push from what I could see from my vantage point. And then I thought we had a lot of time. Arch was back there and going through his first to second to third, sometimes fourth progression. And to have the time to do that is pretty amazing. So I was really proud of the offensive line.
You made a big deal last year and even 2 years ago, Brian, about Texas not being great in the special teams unit. What did you think overall? I know you had a big smile on your face. You had to with the punter, Jack Bomeister. What did you think overall on special teams for the Longhorns?
I thought we started the game with a really good kickoff return. I thought that our coverage units were good. I thought we snapped it and punted it and protected it really, really well. Bomeister was incredible, and he's exactly what the doctor ordered. This is going to be fun. When you combine that type of punter with our type of defense, that is a weapon. You've heard me say it many, 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 many times, Bobby. This year, last year, the year before. I've said it since Moby Dick was a minnow. Punt is not a bad play. It's just not a bad play. When you can get 40 to 50 yards, you can flip the field. You can back that offense up inside the 10-yard line, 15-yard line. When that offense goes on the field and you've got a defense across from them and that ball's inside the 10, there is a tremendous amount of pressure on that offense to try to get that thing out of there. And we always had the mindset as a defense, when we got to go on the field and the offense was backed up inside the 10, it was time to go score. The defense is thinking we want to score, either a safety or a touchdown. And I guarantee you our guys have that same mindset. So I'm so excited about our punter and our defense and the combination thereof. I think it really should affect how Sark makes decisions within games. You saw him, go for it twice on the first possession. And I think later in the half, right before the half, he made a decision not to go for it. And I thought that was the best decision he made during the game, was not trying to get the first down right before the half. Because we didn't want to give them a short field, let them kick a field goal, then let them, get it again to start the second half and go up, 3 scores. So I think throughout the game you could see Sark's approach change in how he needed to approach the game, manage the game, and set his punter and his defense up because if you pin them back down there, you're probably 45 seconds to a minute and a half away from getting it back right in the same spot you had it. So I think that's where we are. It's a huge plus. It's a huge benefit.
Final question for you, Brian. You heard all of the preseason hype. You heard all of us talk, the opinions that we had about what kind of talent is on hand at Texas. All of those things mashed together. You saw them live in Columbus. Are you a buyer or a seller of the Texas Longhorns right now based on what you saw last Saturday?
And I can let my heart kind of get in the way, especially right up to game time, because right before game time, you're like, hey, we can beat anybody. You know, we can beat anybody, anytime, any place. But now you come off of it and you really look at it, and you're at the game and you watch some video and you look at some film and you hear this and you hear that. I'm like, I'm a buyer because I think we had the best team. I think we had the best players overall. Maybe minus the receiving position. Well, definitely minus the receiving position. But other than that, I felt like we had the best players overall. So I'm a buyer. I think we went into a tough site. You catch these guys on a neutral site, and it's a totally different ballgame. And with us having the advantage of seeing how Patricia schemes and how he tries to disguise, there's a million things we could do now to, hey, keep your eyes on that boundary safety a little bit longer because he's going to lie to you. Keep your eyes on this guy just a tad longer because he's going to lie to you, and we can get true reads. So I'm definitely a buyer. Our physicality, I'm sold on it. We're physical. Last year when they beat us, I said it. They were more physical. They were better. They were the most physical football team on the field. I would not say that after Saturday. They were very physical, but we were just as physical as they were. They were not more physical than us. So from a talent standpoint and a physicality standpoint, I'm a buyer.
All right. That's good stuff, Brian. Thanks for joining me for Lunch with the Coach. Again, Bob Shipley will rejoin us next week. We had some technical difficulties this week. Also, thank you to our sponsor, Laura Baker, Austin real estate expert. Give her a shout, Laura at andyallenteam.com. All right, Brian, thanks very much, bud. We'll see you on Friday morning. You join us every Friday mornings now on Coffee and Football. For Brian, myself, as well as our producer, Matt Hutchison, this has been Lunch with the Coach. Hug 'em Horns.
Hug 'em.